Mad Wolf here, along with Arctic Vixen, who was just playing her 3DS, but she turned it off.
Well, it's still on.
Okay, she put it in standby mode. So we're feeling really lousy, and you'll probably notice right now that things are actually a little bit backwards. So, anyway, tonight I want to talk about, like, artists, creators, game designers, that sort of thing. Just gonna jump knee deep into it. Um, there's a lot of cool art out there, a lot of talented artists in this day and age of the digital age where everything is all online and blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. Um, you can find art actually anywhere, and it wasn't just in this day and age. I mean, let's take a look at this. So this is the cover art of Final Fantasy 15, and once again, it's backwards. It's got like this hollow foil kind of effect on it. I don't know if you're seeing it. I'll just show you this picture. But the point is, art's everywhere, and artistic flair, creativity flair, creative flair, that sort of thing can be found in pretty much anything. I used to be part of DeviantArt. A lot of talented artists on there. One of my first friends I made on there was a talented artist in Russia. Her name was Mary, and actually went by the name of Smileyka. I hope I pronounced that right. I'll show a couple of her stuff. And, I met another talented artist, Elistray, and a couple of her things. And most recently, I became friends with Madeline Inc. And, I've been talking about her work for a while and a couple of her pictures. The thing I think about artists and the creative process and everything, because one of the things I do want to get into is you always hear everyone say, oh, well, art is self-expression. You also hear people say, oh, well, you shouldn't do things for others. You should do it for yourself. And I kind of find this a contradiction in terms because the truth of the matter is that self-expression is expressing yourself to whoever's going to listen to your expressions. Doing it for yourself, in some ways I partially agree with, in other ways I do not. Yes, art should be a hobby. Art should be a passion, It shouldn't feel like work. It should not feel, it should be your drive. It should be your creative process. But at the same time, what is the point if you're not doing it for others to view? If you're not making games for people to play, if you're not, and people could say, oh, well, you could keep playing your own games. Arctic, how fun would that be to just play your own same game over and over and over again without, just kind of feeling like you spent all that time working on it?
Well, I would like to expand my interest.
Well, I'm just saying, let's say you made a big open thing, or like a big deal thing like Diablo. How fun would that be just to play that constantly over and over and over again? No one's really noticing it or anything like that.
If I'm really that enthralled in the game, I could care less what anybody else thinks.
True, but at the same time, it's your own process. So you know the ins and outs. You know where all the secrets are. You know where all the quests are. You could pretty much say the dialogue verbatim.
Funny thing though is with certain games I do know the secrets, and if I wanted to, I could have sat down and do like a little walkthrough for people who want to find all these secrets, and if they don't want to, then that's fine. Don't watch it.
Yeah, but you're kind of missing the point. You don't have, you know exactly how to beat it. It's not a challenge or anything like that because it's like you know where everything is. And I'm not saying you guys shouldn't watch walkthroughs or anything. I'm just saying when you create something, the thing of the matter is I don't like using this term because I do feel I am Christian. But essentially, you're the god of your own creations. You're the master of your own realms. You're the all knower and stuff like that. And essentially, I mean, you're making stuff to your taste. For example, I could get into details about Tara Carmichael's secret levels. I could get into details of the two secret levels in Crucible. Granted, I can't get into all of them because I've been, doing that over 10 years, so I don't remember every single thing. But at the same time, when your skills develop, you don't want to go back and play in the old stuff, and because it's like once it gets you, you're like, oh yeah, I know where everything is. And I think it's the same thing with paintings and pictures. It's like, okay, well, for example, right now there's this painting that I actually purchased at a yard sale, and I like it. It's the painting. It's just a painting of rock box getting smashed with waves, and I just saw it at a yard sale for 10, $15. I'm like, I like that. But imagine the artist. They just had a whole house full of paintings of waves crashing on rocks. And, you know, like, all art is self-expression. You could say it's how you're feeling at the time. It's, you're trying to make a point about society. You're trying to get your voices and your voiced opinions out to the world. Your fears, your loves, stuff like that. But if it's self-expression, then who are you really expressing it to if you're not doing it for others? Okay, well, you're expressing yourself for yourself. And once again, I believe in the whole it needs to be fun, it needs to be a hobby, you need to get some kind of enjoyment out of it. But at the same time, you are putting your work out there for others to see, for others to experience, for others to read or play or even simply view, and everything can essentially be your artwork. Movies, YouTube videos, short stories, poems, paintings, sketches, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. But, if no one's really taking notice, then it's, to me, it kind of feels ultimately pointless. I mean, some of my art, I did because, it tied in with my mods. I did concept work for some monsters. I did some concept work for enemies, for main characters, NPCs, even scenery. I mean, I've done, and I'm not the greatest artist out there. Smileyka, Ellis Dre, and Madeline, they put me to shame. I'll be honest. What their work is simply incredible. I think it should be in galleries. They're very talented. And, I mean, even Malika, I didn't get to talk to her that much recently, these last couple of years. Ellis Dre, we still get to chat with every now and again on Skype. But mostly I've been talking to Madeline, and she recently shut down her Patreon. And it's not really my business why. It's a little unfortunate, though, because I was proud to support her. The one thing I will say about artwork, whether it's a hobby, whether it's, something that's crucial to another form of art design, such as, oh, well, I gotta write this story, which I suck at writing stories, but I'm making a short movie. It's kind of crucial to another uh, another part of your art. Um, but what was I getting at?
I don't really know.
Our artwork, it's a long process and it takes a lot of time. Time, as sad as it is to say, is a precious commodity, and this isn't a oh Mad Wolf's getting old like old Deckard Cain or nothing like that. I'm Deckard Mad Wolf. Um, no, time is a precious commodity, and I mean, here in California, minimum wage is going up to like 10.50 an hour or something like that. I think it's actually going up to 10.80 in January. And I mean, that means costs of living and everything's going up too. So if you are a talented artist, you're trying to get your work out there, trying to make this your bread and butter. I'm not saying you're going to eat your paintings or anything like that. I'm just saying you're trying to turn your artwork into something that's profitable. Um, damn it, why is none of my sodas even lasting? Um, shit costs money. That's what it all comes down to. And artwork takes a lot of time. It's this whole process. And game design, mod design, especially with me because I was one person, not really a team. Anybody who's keeping score would know that when I started a team, no one really even contributed. And that's also unfortunate. And for me, the sad thing with my artwork is after years, I still do it every now and again, but the points I was trying to get across, the things I was trying to express with myself in my work, it's either gone blatantly ignored or people never really caught on to it. Matter of fact, when I released Frayed, people thought it was funny that there's naked girls in there, and it's like, dude, that's not the point that was being driven in there. The point is the character Gemini Davidson hasn't been with his girlfriend in years, was forcefully torn from him. Recently discovered that basically, yeah, people wanted him out of the picture, so they forced a good part of his life away, and hasn't really been with someone since. I mean, that's the I guess you could call it emo. I guess that's that kind of emotional kind of shitstorm he's going through, and the monster, the frayed mind, is basically putting him through hell. Um, why? Because it's weakening his spirit, and when that happens, the monster is more likely to take over his body, which eventually does. Spoiler alert. Can't believe I did that for my own mod, but oh well. That's another thing I do want to get into is artwork content. And I don't typically judge people for their artwork content. Like I said, I've done some mods with gruesome things in it, or with not gruesome, but sexy stuff in it. And yeah, Arctic's right here. She knows all about it. And but I do think it should be in good tastes, or it should fit. And when I say that, like, I'm just gonna throw out hentai. Hentai is essentially porn. It's art porn, whether it's anime, whatever. It's you're drawing porn. Okay, well, anybody can just get their jollies up watching sex. Okay, I'm sorry. Pinups. There's a in some ways pinups can be classy, and you can do artistic poses. You can do so much with lighting and all this, whereas sex is just sex. And not that it's gross, but it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. You're just drawing sex. Um, You know, I've seen a lot of amazing pinup pictures, some of which painted by the artists that I mentioned below. I've done some that I'm like, okay. Um, but at the same time, nudity can also fit in horror things. For example, in the game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, there's a monster in there, the Maiden, I think she's called. And that's that gross thing that has like it's like other people's bodies for thighs, and like her, you see inside her stomach. It's really gross to look at. I'm not gonna pull up a picture, mostly because I don't want to be banned off of YouTube. But you know, the thing is, as the artist, you know, it's up to your own discretion as to what you want to do. And unfortunately, in this day and age, you will be branded whatever for whatever trolling reasons for your choices. I mentioned in another video how artists are doing like fan art and stuff just to try to get their work out there. And you know, I mean, there's really nothing wrong with that, especially if you're a fan of the game or fan of the cartoons, fan of the anime, whatever. Smileyka did a lot of Dragon Age stuff. And that's actually how I came across one of her paintings. I was looking up stuff of the Witch of the Wilds, Morrigan, which I think is one of the coolest freaking characters in a fantasy game. You know, very mysterious, and you know, I'm like, I wanted to get to know that character more, and you know, so Smileyka actually did some really good paintings on her. Um, how did I come across? I don't remember what I came. Oh, Madeline did a pinup picture of Lulu from Final Fantasy X that I came across, and I think that was one of the first pictures we really started having conversations with. Um, and that's just it. Is I mean, you know, some of these paintings, you know, yeah, they're in good taste, and some of them are nude, some of them are not. But you know, I mean, the thing is it's really up to the artist's discretion. Do I condone certain things? No, but at the same time, if I ultimately don't like it, I don't have to look at it, I don't have to play it, I don't have to read it. Um, do I also think people go overboard with stuff? Yes. And when I say that, I'm going to bring up the game Mortal Kombat. Not Mortal Kombat XL. Actually, Mortal Kombat XL kind of got into it. When you think of Mortal Kombat, you think of really gross killing fatalities and stuff. And Mortal Kombat X really had some disturbing ones. I particularly don't like some Scorpions where he cuts the head in half and you see inside this way, and like you see the tongue muscle. It's just, I just think, I'm like, ugh, that's just gross. It's not really like awesome. It's, for me, it's gross. Another one is when Cassie Cage does a selfie after like kicking a dude's face in or something like that, and she's doing the duck lips thing, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, this is just freaking gross. It's not even like, oh, this is so awesome. You know, I mean, it's overkill, to be honest, and I guess that's what fatalities always were. But I don't know. I grew up with Mortal Kombat 1, where it's like Scorpion just rips his own human mask off. He's a skeleton, breathes fire. The guy's dead. Kano rips out a guy's heart. Sub-Zero uppercuts a guy's head off. You know, stuff like that. And it's like, it's not. It was overkill at the time, but it's also like, you know, it's mild touches.
I won't even get in detail of Melina's fatalities.
Well, I remember some of her one of her fatality. Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about. Um, but you know, the thing that bugs me, the reason why I get into that, is in Mortal Kombat, the one that's essentially the remake of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. They do battle damage to the clothes. And for Melina and Katana, you really shred off their clothes. And I'm not saying, give me boobs! But at the same time, it just feels utterly ridiculous that you're shredding this much clothing off, and the only thing that's left is conveniently covering their butts, their boobs, and their crotch. I was about to say another word that wouldn't be politically correct, but oh, what the hell, I covered myself. And that's just it. Is I'm like, okay, first of all, if you're gonna make an M-rated game that's really pushing graphic content, why not just show nipples? I mean, okay, I'm sorry, nipples are not the most evilest thing. Oh my God, Diablo brought forth the nipples, and they were the spawn of Diablo, the Prince of Lies. Um,
You and your Deckard Cain.
Dude, I'm sorry, Deckard Cain is just hilarious to work on. Um, but I don't know. It's sometimes it's utterly ridiculous, and I understand. Okay, well, it's still to be tasteful, except with stuff like Mortal Kombat, dude. You're really not being tasteful with killing people. So, I really love the design of Melina in Mortal Kombat X. And I really wish they did more with her in the story mode and stuff, but that's another point for later. My whole point is just, when another one, I'm not going to reveal her name, but um, she was a model. She modeled her own photos, and she photoshopped herself to be this topless mermaid, and yes, she was topless, but she was holding her boobs, and, I kind of made the wisecrack joke. Why would you do that? I mean, come on. And she took it really offensively, and she known me for a long time, but she still took me like a pervert. And I'm not gonna flash my boobs to you, and blah 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 blah. And I just technically got into it. I'm like, first of all, because I also made the suggestion. I'm like, look, if it's that much of a big issue, wear a bikini or something. I mean, just something to cover yourself up. Don't use your hand. That just looks dumb. And she lashed out at me, and at that point I'm like, okay, you're wanting to defend yourself by saying, oh, it's a mermaid and everything. Well, first of all, if you're a mermaid who doesn't wear clothes, well, I don't think they would be so concerned about covering up their boobies. Okay? Second of all, you're a mermaid, you're not going to be swimming around like this underwater. That's just dumb. The sharks are going to come up and eat you. Okay? Um, Third, mermaids are fantasy characters. They can wear whatever the hell they want. Look at Ariel's Little Mermaid. Look at some of those sirens in games like The Witcher and stuff like that. Okay, Witcher's a bad example. I think they are nude in that one. Um, I think it's like League of Angels or something like that. Some of those online browser games. But yeah, look at some of those. I mean, they wear some.
I think that was it's also kind of like Pirates, the fourth Pirates movie.
Well, even she was naked. But they wound up putting clothes on her. But that's just it. It's like,
Yeah, but then when she's like in mermaid formation, you don't really see the nudity. But when she falls out of the water, she covers herself up, and you realize, oh, because she's changing to.
it's because she's surrounded by a lot of men that want to rape her. That's why. But I'm talking about if you're gonna legitimately do a photo shoot where you look like a mermaid underwater, and you're not gonna cover up your boobs. That's just stupid. Um, and it wound up. It actually inspired me for one of my paintings, which is called Underwater Beauty. And the idea behind that is, what if mermaids did exist, and what if their, I guess, culture or society kind of evolved, kind of like ours had, where, we have t-shirts and stuff like that. So this is actually my final result of that. And, frankly, I think it actually looked pretty good. I think it offered a pretty unique spin on mermaids. And, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. So that's that. But, that's my whole point with content. is if you're gonna show something, if you want to show it, don't tease it, especially like with mermaids or stuff like that, because it's like, that's dumb. If you want to be a mermaid, then swim freely with the fishies, you want to be one with nature. Okay, well, it's kind of pointless to be one with nature when you're covering yourself. Mortal Kombat's another great example. Oh, we're graphically pushing the content, however, nipples are bad. Oh, but ripping a guy's head off and shoving it up his ass is okay, while his spine is dangling out like a tail. You know? Oh, but nipples are bad. We can't have nipples. Or butt cracks. If you show any more than 1 inch of butt crack, that is bad. And we will be banned. The second thing, so that's the content that I want to get into. If you want to do revealing stuff, do revealing stuff. If you want to do a tease or a pin-up, you can do a tease and a pin-up, but the thing is, at least make it make sense. But once again, it's your guys' thing. Just do what you want to do. It's just, my whole thing is, my artwork's just kind of left me feeling kind of empty, and right now I'm trying to find a reason why I should continue doing it, and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. That's a story for a different time. But yeah, I feel pretty hollow inside right now. And I do feel for a lot of my friends, and I do hope the best for them with this upcoming year of 2017. Where's our damn hover cars already? Anyway, that was my rant. It's gone on long enough, and I'll leave you guys to it. Have a good night. Or not, whatever.